Would he blow Iraq and Iran? All the kingdom come? Would he strut around on ships after blasting kids to bits? Tell me, who would Jesus bomb? Who would Jesus hate?
Oh no.
Who would Jesus hate?
Lord, no.
Would he put down all the liberals before passing the plate? Would he sound the immigrant call and build a great big wall? Tell me, who would Jesus hate? Would he brand the axis evil, subvert democracy, and divide a united nation from sea to one shining sea? Oh, who would Jesus cut? Whose health care would Jesus cut? Would he say, go save yourself, cause we're in a money rut? Would he dump seniors on Skid Row, kick poor kids in the butt? Tell me, whose health care would Jesus have?
Well, Pittsburgh and Pennsylvanians and Americans, this is, of course, October 26, 2010. This episode is Integrity. You'll find out the reason for the name a little bit later. I will tell you this much. It's going to be multi-topic, of course, multi-topical. But we don't have a whole lot of time to waste. We want to give you the best that we can, because I pride myself on professionalism and providing entertainment along with information. So now it's time for me to shut my teeth, to open my teeth, to introduce Annette. And I know I did a little blooper, but that's all right. Annette Mendel, if you would, please.
Yes, we'd like to say hi to Merle Krause, Jay, Brad, Eli, Rich, Moose, and we want to say hi to Elaine and the Wendy's crew on Browns Hill Road in Squirrel Hill, or the Greenfield Squirrel Hill area, and Jacina at Popeyes on the south side, and the crew at Pasta 2 in South Park, and Norman Franklin and Andrew and Quentin Franklin at Popeyes in the south side. That's where we met them. And Robert from Dish Network. We just want to tell your supervisors that Rob did an excellent job. And Janet and Mike.
All right. Some of the people we mentioned, we met in our daily lives. Just happened to see this family when we were dining at Popeyes. And I said, do you mind if we put your name on TV? As a matter of fact, it's possible that this family may actually be on as a future guest. So just wanted to throw that out there. And this show, initially, if you remember, I said that there was a good chance I was going to have some doctors on here. We were going to talk about cancer. Well, the reason why this episode is called Integrity is I actually lost those guests. And I lost those guests because of my integrity. Now, we have a one-person crew, and it's Yori, and he's doing an excellent job, but he's only one human being. So as soon as he is physically able to, we're going to go into the first tape roll. I'm going to ask all of you to watch this entire tape roll. And later, we may have a second one if time permits and I feel that it's warranted. But this one, especially to the older adults, if you're over 50 years old, pay very close attention to what the young man that I interview is going to say. So thank you for showing the tape roll, and thank you for everything you do, Yori. Burgers and Pennsylvanians and my fellow Americans, the honor of interviewing a brave congressman in America, and that is Congressman Mike. The tragedy in 2001. Most Americans were terrorized. In 2000, and a few days after that, I was actually, ironically, I was attending South Carolina drama class. A few days. Well, everyone, sorry about that. The taper was having a technical issue. The video machine camcorder that I used actually has been involved in a 3-vehicle accident, and unfortunately, I don't have the funds to actually get another camera. Now, later on, we may try to roll that tape again, although I don't see why that we would do that. So I'm going to ask Yuri to try the other tape a little bit later, the other clip. Now, what I'm thinking what's going on is the way that sometimes when you dub stuff from DVD or mini DV to DV and what have you, other technologies just don't work the way we want them. But I will say this. That was an interview with Congressman Mike Doyle. I was very honored to get an actual interview with Congressman Mike Doyle. And some people have asked me, well, how were you able to get this interview? Well, essentially, I called D.C. and I called Pittsburgh, and I just remained persistent. And I was very honored to actually interview Mike Doyle. But whether we get the video or not, I'm going to talk a little bit about Mike Doyle. And my main reason for the interview was really to tell the audience this story. And this has nothing to do with being a Democrat, what have you. This is about patriotism. But I'm going to tell you this story. But before I even do any of that, I have to interview, that's a good one. I'm going to interview you now. Hey, I'm drunk and I don't even drink. But I'm going to introduce a man that all of you know by now. Yes, I'm going to introduce the one and only, the wild, and sometimes kind of funny, Chris Weis.
Hi. Yes, I am wild and crazy at times, but that goes with the territory.
What territory?
Hell if I know.
Don't swear on my set. Go ahead.
But I also want to say hi to Stanley Bosta from Hayes.
All right.
He works on the waterfront.
All right.
I won't say what he does because I don't advertise.
No, I don't really advertise, but I let people know who I'm talking about, because if you don't, people are like, well, Stanley who? Stanley Cup?
Yeah, Stanley Cup is a good
There
one.
you go, Stanley Cup. I don't know.
I would like a drink from Stanley Cup sometime.
Hey. We are on live TV. No more of that nonsense. We got business to do. So are you all right with your opening
Yeah, I'm
comments?
fine. How are you?
Medium. Well, let me go and tell you the story about Mike Doyle. How's that sound? You interested?
Interested.
All right. Well, you know what? We found out that the other tape roll come on, mouth, work right. Tape roll clip part 2. So when I'm done telling this story, how about we try that one, Yuri, if time, we'll just go ahead after I'm done with this story and just go right into it. So we'll see how that works, but keep your head up, please. Annette had her head down. You couldn't see it on camera, but I could. That didn't look good. I was like, hey, come on, don't fall asleep here. I know I'm boring, but geez. I'm just teasing. Well, anyway, now let's get down to seriousness. About Mike Doyle. Obviously, it was an honor, a privilege, and an accomplishment to be able to get an interview with such a well-known and busy man. And the fact that I got an interview with a congressman, that's something that, quote unquote, mainstream journalists do. Not always public access hosts. So guess what? Consider me a professional. But the thing is, I wanted to get this interview with Mike for a variety of reasons, but this is the main reason. In 2001, on 9/11, America was attacked. And most Americans were horrified and terrified, didn't even want to go out for groceries. They were scared out of their wits. And I said, you know what? F the terrorists. And we all know what F I mean. I was like, F the terrorists. At the time, I was attending CCAC South Campus for drama classes and acting for camera classes. I said, I'm not going to let those mother Fritos, and Fritos wasn't the word I was using, tell me how to live, and I'm not going to be afraid. Actually, the definition of terrorist is to terrorize, right? Well, if you don't let them terrorize you, in the way, you defeat them. And I said to myself, and this is going to sound odd, but I actually said this in my head. I said, what is the worst thing a terrorist can do? The worst thing they can do is kill us. And people say, well, hello, that is terrible. Yes, it's terrible. No, I don't want to go anytime soon. But there is something that we need to consider in that statement that many of us don't. The only thing a murderer can do is kill you. They can't take away your memories or memories of you. They can't take away your soul. They can't take away who you were. You will go to paradise. You will go to a heaven or wherever the afterlife takes us. So in the end, they can only destroy your earthly body. And no, I don't want to go anytime soon. I'd like to live to 155 if I can. But my point was, I have my soul, I have my faith, or what have you. So the heck with these terrorists, they're not going to terrorize me. So I went to college a day or two after this horrendous attack. And probably about 3 days later, I can't remember exactly, we're in class, and all of a sudden, our class is interrupted. They said, we have a special guest. Congressman Mike Doyle took it upon himself, risked, possibly at the time, none of us knew what was really going on. He risked his own personal life and safety to try to calm his constituents down and talk to us. So he actually came to CCAC South Campus a few days after the attack. I consider that to be very brave, courageous, and quite frankly, reassuring. So I thanked him for that. But my main reason for that interview was to say to him, thanks for showing us that America was still going to exist and for having that courage. And I bring that up because too often Democrats are portrayed as weak and cowardly. How many of you out there, whether you're Democrat or Republican, how many of you would have taken that personal risk to go to, say, CCAC? It's pretty scary. And I got to admit, I was sitting there in my class, and I worried a little bit. I didn't worry about being attacked, because I felt like if you attacked me, I was going to take you out, and I don't mean for hot wings. You know, I would take you out. If you attacked me, I would take you out. That's what I was thinking at the time. But still, all of us were concerned. So for Mike Doyle to come to that class, I felt like, wow, this is exciting. This is brave. God bless you. This is brave. So the next time people say that Democrats are cowards or liberals or somehow tree huggers and yada, 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 this derogatory stuff, you and me need to think that is all a deception. Let's think about that. And come November the 2nd, 2010, a week from now, let's think about some other things before we go to the polls. You know, because to tell you the truth, there's so much deception out there that it's hurting our country. But you know what? I would like Mike Doyle, Congressman Mike Doyle, to speak for himself. And Yuri, if the second clip, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, we'll come back to me. And the second tape is apparently okay. So Yuri, if you can go into that, and thank you very much. Years. So could you, I guess, I hate to say, defend the healthcare law and also somehow make the correlation?
Well, I mean,
it's $2 trillion less, but make an argument why people should not be getting rid of the Democrats based on that one particular law.
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to discuss the bill. First of all, the Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the enactment of this legislation